So our doll is finished. You can leave it like that and just make the clothes and dress her. Or you can put some hair on. The pattern is written so that there's already like a head of hair on there. It's very short hair. It's great if you're having a boy doll or or a girl doll with short hair. But I want to show you some options of making hair and what you can do. This is one of my first dolls I made. She has very thick, chunky hair. It's almost like a single ply chunky hair, and I like it. It's pretty cool, but it gets in the way. But I like it. She's quite unique with that. Another one I made is using just yarn, and she's just used normal double knit yarn, and she's got a little short bit at the front for a fringe. Okay, so she looks pretty cool. Let's have a look in the boxes. Now in this box, oh that's not good. So our doll is now finished. The only thing left to do now is make the clothes and decide what we're going to do with the hair. The pattern is written so that you already have a type of a hairstyle on there. You can leave it as that for if it's going to be a boy character or a girl with short hair, or if you're giving this to a very young child that might chew the hair, it might be best to leave hair off until she's old enough and then add it on later. I'm going to show you a few different techniques or things that I've done in the past. So this is one of the first dolls I ever made. You can see I used the old safety eyes. Her hair is a very chunky single ply acrylic yarn. I like it, but it's not very practical. It just gets everywhere, but I like it. I think it's pretty unique. So that's her hair. Another one is where I've used just normal double knit acrylic yarn and just hooked it through, which I'll show you how to do that in a bit. And she's got a little fringe at the front. That's pretty cool. Another way of doing hair is on this little doll is to like sew it on or embroider it on. I've crocheted a tiny little bun there, and then the rest of the hair I've like slip stitched over the head, satin stitch. I can't remember what stitch it is, but I've just stitched the hair in place. So that's another way of doing hair, and I'm sure you'll find lots more on the internet. And this is another style that I've done where I've used a special yarn that's made especially for doll hair, and I've put that in place, and then I've given her two little plaits at the back, and so that's her. So that's what I'm going to do with this doll. I'm going to use this special hair. It's called Dolly Mohair. It's a mohair, but it's brushable. So one thing you can do is crochet a cap, a skull cap, and you do that by following a basic amigurumi, or following the head pattern if you want. Make it as big as you want and then stitch it in place. You can leave it like that and have very short hair, because all this hair will fall to the inside of the cap, and you can have that in place. Or you can cut strands. So I'm going to cut strands. What I use my mobile phone as a measurement, and that's because what I do, if I want the hair to be very long, I sort of measure. That is longer than I want it, really, and that's how I want it on the back. But then up here I don't want it to end here. So what I'll do, I'll use the longest measurement, and then you may have other things you can use to measure it with. I'm just used to using my mobile phone. So what we do is I hold the yarn at one end, and I'm just going to wrap the hair around. So you buy this wool off the internet. There's a lot of shops that sell it, and it comes in a lot of hair colours, and they have different kinds. They have an organic kind, they have one that's quite loopy, which is nice for afro styles. So you get some hair, wrap it round, get my scissors. You don't need a lot of it. This is they sell sample packs of, I think it's 30 grams, and this is one of those little sample packs. And I've already used some of it on something else, so it does last. It does go quite far, because it's not extremely cheap. It's not expensive. It's not extremely expensive, but it's not cheap either. So we've got our strands of hair. We're going to take one. One thing you can do, you can just sew the strands of yarn through the scalp if you want, but I like to crochet them in. And I'm going to work, you don't have to do every stitch, that's just too much. What we tend to do is in rows, so I might do a row there and then a row there, and then as I go up I might start working in full circles. You can work from top to bottom as well. You find your own style of this. So I'm going to fold the strand in half. I'll start on the bottom here. I'm hooking around a stitch, and then I'll hook it on, pull it through, and there's one. And this hair colour is a different colour to the scalp, which isn't ideal. Normally you would use a hair colour that is the same as the scalp, but I just want to be awkward today. And I thought you can actually see what I'm doing if the hair is two colours. So I've not done it straight next to each other, I've left 2 stitches in between. When you get to the end you can work out, you know, if you see any gaps you can always add in an extra strand of hair. So, and that's it, you just carry on, you go round and round. Until you're satisfied with the hair that you've got. Okay, so I'm going to finish this off, and then when it's finished I'll show you what it looks like.